Why is this not reported in any other Gospels, any other historical account, anywhere, given that this is the most extraordinary thing that's ever happened in human history?
Right. So the...
Also, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt,
please.
but also crucially, Matthew says, at the time of Jesus' death, there was a huge earthquake, the second earthquake, the graves opened, and that then the holy ones appeared to people after the resurrection to many. So there's this very, very strange passage, which seems strange on the surface, but also says that the graves opened at the time of the crucifixion, but they weren't walking around and appearing to people until after the resurrection. It seems confused, it seems contrived, unless they were like hanging out dead in open graves for like 3 days until they got up or something. It's a very, very strange passage, which I think has no historicity behind it.
Sure, but that's not the same as the claim you originally brought up, which is the resurrection of Christ himself.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is if that's unlikely...
So if I were to, I understand. So if I were to connect the two, what I would say is the historicity for the resurrection of Christ has the same type of data that the historicity of the resurrection of these holy ones in Matthew, because the appearances of these holy ones and the appearances of Christ correlate. They correspond. And so the reports of their appearances is just as likely, like for example, you're aware of the passage in obviously Corinthians 15, which is one of the earliest attestations of the formal traditional creed that states about the resurrection of Christ and the appearance to 500, and this states within within 5 years of Christ's resurrection. So
well, arguably, yeah. I mean, it's unclear. I mean, are you referencing...
As I understand, you do grant that possibility.
I grant that Paul's very early. I don't know about 5 years.
Sure. But, well, the tradition on which it's based, because he's quoting a very specific midrashic formula.
But, I agree.
Okay,
but
I can concede that.
Paul inserts himself into that formula. He says, finally, he appeared to me. So at some point, the formula stops and Paul's own words
actually,
begin.
that demonstrates the proof of the formula rather than subverts it.
Sure, but I don't know where the formula ends and Paul begins.
That's fine. My point is to say that there are early attestations that are no different in nature than the attestations of the holy ones that rose from the grave. So,
crucially,
so if you reject the resurrection of Christ based on the data of eyewitness testimony, then of course you're going to reject the resurrection or the resuscitation, let's say, either one of the holy ones based on the eyewitness testimony.
Well, it's fine if you believe that. I just know that a lot of Christians don't, so I'd like to establish that first. Otherwise, it's irrelevant. Let's forget about
So we did your passage.